and you're causing more people to hate you. So the other reason I haven't done one of these videos again, A, that board, it may not work for many other reasons other than the SMC. And also, I don't know if the SMC I'm even putting on it is good. And I like to show you that what I did worked. I like to show you that the result of my work is a product that works. I always tell you, if somebody cannot show you that the product works, that there's no reason to listen to them, because they're showing you how to do something that just doesn't work. But here, I'm just going to break that rule, because there's no video on the internet that even shows you how to remove an SMC, how to reball an SMC, how to do any of this stuff, and that actually goes through it in depth and detail. There's none at all that even show you without the depth and the detail. You can't even find an SMC replacement video where they're doing it with techno music. So I'm going to do it, and even if it doesn't work, again, troll's going to troll. You can laugh as much as you want, but it is what it is. Also, most of the time that this doesn't end well, and the boards that I do this on are usually boards that are completely fucked, and the boards I'm taking the SMCs from look something like this. Okay, got the SMC off. Now the first thing to do is to clean this thing. So I'm going to take this clamp that I got over here. This is my clamp. And we're going to put the SMC inside of the clamp. Now what I want to do is I want to clean it. So I have this clamp that's actually kind of made for this size chip. I'm pretty certain that I got this from David at Advanced Reworks. I'm 99.999% certain that this came from David. So if you need one of these things, hit David at Advanced Reworks up and ask him for one of these. I just got flux on me. Blah. Alright, so I'm going to wash my hands to get that shit off of my fingers. And before I do that, you can take a nice look at what this looks like. Pretty, isn't it? Freaking flux. Ugh. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to wick the solder off of the pads. But what I want to do is I want to make sure there's no lead-free solder on there, and also that there's none of that oxidating, junky, nasty bullshit on there that's going to keep the pads from being able to be tinned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try to tin every pad right now with my leaded solder over here. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk about what I'm looking for as I go. This looks like some dry, gunked, caked up crap. Come on, get hot. Just turned on the Hacko. Okay, it's hot. So what I want to see is that I can get solder to stick to every single pad. So first I'm just going to make a quick walkthrough to get rid of any of the lead-free junk. Now it may look like there are pads that are ripped. That's the first thing that you're going to think of if you're not used to working on stuff at the scale. But what you're going to see is if I scrape a little bit, you're going to see that the pads get tinned. So I'm going to focus a little bit on each pad. So for example, the one all the way on the upper left. Looks like a ripped pad, right? I'm not going to scrape hard, because if I scrape hard I destroy it. But I scrape a little bit and then I solder. And the one under it. Scrape a little, then solder. Scrape a little, then solder. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that every single one of those pads is prepared to accept the balls that I'm going to be putting on it. Because there's no point to reballing this chip if the pads don't accept the solder, because they're just junk, and you know, so a little bit. And I clean it with this because the iron itself is hot. So the iron being hot is, you know, it's going to be better for removing dirt than if it's cold. It's a piece of metal that I can scrape with. I have good control over it. I'm used to using this, so I know how much pressure I'm putting, because it's an instrument that I use all the time, every day. So I'm just going to go through here and just kind of try to make all those pads work again. The other thing is this solder has flux inside of it, so flux is also good at getting rid of oxides and dirt and other junk. So what I want is, as I'm scratching that stuff away, I don't want it to just go back onto the pad. I want it to get sucked up into that solder ball that I'm making, and then I just wick it off of the iron, and I clean it off of the iron, and so I have a solder ball that's probably filled with old flux and dirt, and I just wash that away. Okay, gonna go. So this is not actually putting balls on it. All I'm doing is tinning the pads, because I want to know that each individual pad has the ability to accept solder. This is an important part of the process. This is not very important with graphics chips that have large pads or CPUs with 0.75 millimeter balls like the old Core 2 Duo ones. But with the SMC it is, because, I don't know, this chip is just designed to be a bitch. There's no other way to put it. This chip is a female dog. A very loud, barking, obnoxious female dog of chips. We just go through, we go through.